Do you ever look at somebody who has a thing that they're really into and you're like, what's my thing? Like the artists and the writers and the musicians and the people who are maybe really into board games or poetry or trivia. And you're like, what's my thing? I don't know what I'm really passionate about, or I don't know what I'm good at. At 41, I'm trying to figure out who I am, what I like, and how I'm going to spend the rest of my life. I started over financially and personally at 39 years old, and I'm finally out of survival mode, so I actually can think about things like this for the first time. And I wrote in my journal a lot about this morning, and I wanted to share. And what I wanted to share is I guarantee that there is something that you are good at that is special and different, first of all. And even if you haven't found it yet, it's there, and I want to maybe help you uncover it. And even if it might not feel like it right now, everyone has something that comes easily to them. And these are the things that are usually something you might not even realize because you're so good at them and it comes so easy, you might just think that anybody can do it. Like you just might not feel that special about it because it comes so easily. And I want to help you find some of these things. So the first thing we have to do in order to do this, we have to get out of our programming and access those things that we love and we're good at. And by programming, I mean rules and beliefs that you have, but these rules and beliefs don't really serve you. They don't really serve your future. They were stuck in there by other people. And I'll give you an example. So I didn't used to be confident. Now, if confidence is I just do my thing and I don't really care about what people think, and also the ability to just go for things and do them without worrying, then I am really, really confident now. But I wasn't before. I had so much unease in my body and in what I wore and in how I was supposed to do my hair. So growing up, I was a part of a community where the message was we had to wear long dresses, we had to wear our hair in a bun, no makeup, no cutting our hair, etc. And a few hundred years ago, the whole world believed that. We were just a little behind the times on those beliefs. And I always had so much fear around what I was supposed to be doing. I had so much guilt if I didn't make everyone around me happy. And everything was a struggle. Everything I did was a struggle. Just existing was a struggle. But I pushed through because I felt like I had to push myself to be the person that I thought I was supposed to be. And I didn't know who I was because I was so busy trying to figure out who I was supposed to be and who everyone else wanted me to be. So I don't know if that resonates with you. And then my misery and my fear brought me into a depression where I gained 65 pounds. And then I got so sick of my life and myself and what I had become. It's like when you're young, you dream and you think you're going to grow up one day and do these great things. And then I hit this place in my early 20s where I was like, what? This is my life? Like, no, this is awful. And so I was so driven to change my existence that I started my own fitness program because I was like, well, if I lose the weight, then I'll feel better. And 20 years ago, there were not cool group fitness programs. So just keep that in mind. And I wanted to play like kids on a playground, and I wanted to do fun things. And I've talked about it before, but I thought I wanted to join the military just to do their obstacle course because it looked like a great way to lose weight. Not a good reason to join the military. I did not join the military. Instead, I started my own boot camps for civilians in the parks with obstacles and games, and we made them fun. And I didn't realize at that time that one of my superpowers, so this is, we're starting to uncover the things that we're really good at, the things that we're passionate about. My superpower was feeling really bad, and I felt bad for most of my life. Recently, I've felt really, really good for the last while, and that's why I'm making these videos, because I want to help other people. But anyways, I was able to feel really bad and then quickly take action and change my situation and my life. And I've done that over and over and over again. And usually I'll get myself into another bad situation by acting too quickly. That's my personality. But then I get out of it pretty fast. So I have changed my life many times. I've transformed into a better version of myself over and over. Like, as an example, when I was 25, I realized that everything I thought I knew may or may not be true. I just doubted everything in my existence. And the only thing I could think of that I knew was true out of everything in the whole world was be nice to each other and tell the truth and follow the truth and tell the truth, even to myself. And I couldn't stay in the community I was in because it would be breaking that second rule of telling the truth. Because if I stayed, it would be me pretending instead of me telling the truth. And so I knew that even if I wasn't sure what was right or what was wrong, I was so confused at that time, I had to leave and I had to figure out what the truth was, and I had to live that. And there's a quote, "Thy own self be true, thou canst not then be false to any man." I think it's Shakespeare. That was really, really big for me, as I need to follow the truth. And just to continue on with this superpower of being able to get myself out of bad situations, like I got myself into a lot of bad situations. And I think it's because I act really, really fast. And I always kind of felt bad about getting myself into things and then quitting them. But I decided that choosing isn't quitting. And just because I chose something else, it doesn't make me a quitter. It doesn't make me somebody who doesn't have staying power. Like, I've owned one of my businesses for 20 years. I have staying power, okay? And it doesn't make me lazy. So let's get back to talking about letting go of our programming and finding our superpowers. So for me, it took me forever, like until my late 30s, to realize that it is okay to feel good. Some of you guys are gonna be like, what? Really? And some of you guys are gonna be like, yeah, me too. Or maybe I still don't realize that it's okay to feel good. I don't have to be tortured and sacrifice here on earth to be a good person. What? Am I the only one feeling this way? Please let me know in the comments. I mean, literally just realized this in the last few years. And I can follow what feels good, and it will lead me to more good things. What? Are you kidding me? What a cool thing. What a cool thing to have here on earth. And it's not selfish. It's not selfish to follow what feels good. And we're talking about things that feel aligned, that feel good. We're talking about following our passions instead of what other people tell us that we're supposed to do. We're talking about things that don't hurt other people, okay? And I think anyone listening to me, you know what we mean here. And in fact, I have been able to help way more people coming from a good feeling place than coming from a have to place. How fun is that? How good does that feel? So here's an example of how to start letting go of that programming. Whenever a thought that comes up that makes you feel bad in your body, ask yourself, is this thought actually true? And why do I think this thought is true? So I'll give you an example that has to do with uncovering another one of my superpowers, which is learning. I love learning. And because I held so many beliefs for so long that made absolutely no sense, I am quick to acknowledge when I am wrong about something and reach for the better, more truer thing. And some of the thoughts that we had are like, you have to wear long dresses, you have to wear nylons, you can't watch movies, like those, like dancing is bad. Like those are the things that I had like kind of, drilled into me, not by my parents, but by the community we were in. And so I love learning the truth more than I care about being wrong. And that is a superpower. Not very many people just want to know the truth and don't care about being wrong. Look at people arguing about politics, for example. Okay, I'm not going to talk about politics. I don't pay attention. Let's just leave that. But it's an example that I think we can all identify with, is where are the people out there who are just like, I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I just want to know what's true. We're all so busy defending our things because it's part of our identity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a superpower. And now that I'm on we're all on a spiritual journey our whole lives. And my spiritual journey has so many twists and turns. But the absolutely beautiful part is that I have let go of the fear. And the fear used to accompany spirituality for me. So I don't know how I became so much different than my mom and my dad and my older brother. They're still in that community and they adore it. But for me, it was torture. They love it. They feel good. They feel peaceful. I love that for them. But for me, it was torture. And I tortured myself with fear, guilt, shame, and trying to be perfect to get to heaven. And when I was growing up in that church, they had a lot of dumb rules that they have since started to let go of, because all communities grow and, adapt and everything. And some communities are just slower than others. And when I was in it, I latched onto those rules instead of latching on to love. And I think someone like my mom, she can just let go of the rules, whatever, she'll just do them, but it's not really part of her journey. She inherently follows the love. But for me, I'm such a rebel, and at the same time, such a weird rule follower, or I was, and not anymore. But anyways, one of the rules was that we had to wear the long dresses and our hair in a bun. And that never felt good, ever. To be an outsider, to be weird, to constantly feel uncomfortable, to be constantly unprepared for the random game of like pickup basketball or football. I love being active and wearing these long dresses. And it's like the boys are just ready to go and play. And it's like for us, we had to always figure out what to wear doing those things because we're in our long dresses. But years after leaving that community, it's so strange, I still felt guilty wearing pants, like years after. And one day I caught that thought, because that thought didn't feel good. Like when I would feel guilty, because I would wear pants all the time, but I would have this weird subconscious back in the mind guilt about it. And it didn't feel good. So I just asked myself, why is it true that girls have to wear long dresses? And I know it sounds so silly if you weren't raised and programmed that way, but I guarantee you have some programming too that might sound weird to other people. Everybody has programming. And I realized there wasn't any good reason except for one thing written by a man in a completely different time in history that may or may not have been translated correctly. And all of a sudden, all the guilt was gone. And I didn't even realize I still had guilt about that. It was like this subconscious thing in the back. And I completely released that belief and that programming. And all of a sudden, on the other side of it, I was like, that is so ridiculous. That's such a ridiculous belief. But I still today, I keep finding beliefs that are ridiculous. I keep finding them. But realizing that I still at that time had random things that I felt guilty about, that helped me realize how much continuous work I need to do on undoing the programming. And I am still working on it and doing much better, but it's a constant journey. So when our consciousness is tied up in all the rules made by other people that don't have anything to do with us, because we're all different, we all feel differently, we're all on different journeys, and these rules just make us feel bad, we don't have as much space for following our joy and finding our passions. So now we're back to following the love, finding our passions, finding the things that we're good at. And I just want to say that now in spirituality, I am following the love. I still don't know much, but I listen to all kinds of different people who teach on spirituality, and I take the parts that fill my heart with love and joy, and I leave the rest. None of us truly knows anyways. We just all have feelings and experiences that give us small glimpses of what might be, and so that's where I'm at now, is just following what feels good. And this brings me to another superpower that I never thought of as a superpower. Because again, like, I am not an artist. I'm not a singer. I love singing. I feel like I could sing really well, but people have told me differently. But anyways, my other superpower that I just recently uncovered is I'm willing to sit here with you and share from my heart. And I'm willing to admit that I don't know much, but I have this desire in my heart and I have this joy when I do this, that somehow I want to make this journey on earth just a bit easier and feel a bit better for both of us. And as someone who has tortured myself on the inside for most of my life, again, I was nice and cheerful and happy on the outside, but torturing myself on the inside. I don't know if that resonates for any of you. I was putting on my happy front, and I can tell you now that according to my journal, I have way more good moments than bad. And I keep improving and I keep feeling better in business, spiritually, finances, family, and giving to others. I feel better in all those areas and I continue to improve. And I do have setbacks sometimes and I share them on this channel. I share them openly and I share what I'm doing to work through them. And then we all see each other on the other side. And I just hope that the vulnerability is beneficial to you. I basically wish that I would have known all of this in my 20s. You know, it just would have made things feel so much better. And I'm sure when I'm 60, there are things that I am going to wish that I had known now, but trying to learn them and share them. And that superpower that I'm sharing about is just being willing to be vulnerable and real with you in this space. And I think it's a superpower because I don't have any agenda. It just feels good to share with you. And it feels good to see my progress because as I edit my little YouTube videos, I'm like, ooh, I'm better. I had that thing that was hurting really bad and now I'm better. So that feels good. So once we let go of our programming, the things that make us feel bad for no reason, we make room for way cooler things. And here's what I want you to do. This is the action step. I want you to pay attention to the things that come easily to you. So it might help if you pay attention to when someone else is struggling with something that you don't struggle with. We never want to shame them or judge or compare. Some comparison is helpful because you can see, oh, look at that person. They're so much further ahead of me. I can be there. I can get there. Sometimes it's very inspirational. But we just want to notice that, hey, this comes easily to me and it doesn't come easily to other people. And start making your list of those things and start adding to it. And ask yourself if in your job, if in your relationships, in your hobbies, if you're able to enjoy those things that do come easily to you. And then you start really seeing like what your passions might be in life. You start uncovering them. And joy kind of follows joy. So as you uncover them and as you are doing them and you're like, wow, I'm really good at this, success actually makes more motivation. It's hard to be motivated when we don't feel successful. So as we're noticing these things, then we feel more successful, we feel more motivated, we start noticing more things. And I also want to say that there's no shame in spending time on the things that feel easy and dedicating most of your time to those. There is no reason to grit it out or force yourself to improve in things that you don't like when other things feel so easy to you. And sometimes we're going to have to grit things out. I've gritted a lot of things out in my life, but you will know the difference between something that you are just forcing yourself to grit out that is beneficial to you or not beneficial to you. For example, in business, my zone of genius is sales and marketing, specifically sales. I love hearing about other business leaders' struggles while I'm on my calls, and I love figuring out how to help even if they don't use us. And when I was forcing myself to do all the other things in my business as well, I was miserable and things were not getting done as fast as they are now that other people are doing those things. So my boyfriend and partner, he is the opposite. So he loves managing the team and like doing the admin and financials. Thank goodness. And he would be absolutely terrified to do my job. And I would be miserable doing his job. And if we were forcing ourselves to do the things that make us miserable, our business, our clients, and our team members would suffer. So it's just so much better for us to be in our zone of geniuses. And that's why I love the strength test to see what your strengths are. And when I took my first test to see what my strengths were, I was like, oh, everyone's going to answer the same thing. No, that's how much I didn't realize where my strengths were my strengths. And that's how much I didn't realize that it was special that I had those strengths, is because I thought everyone had the same strengths as me. I will quickly share to close up a limiting belief that I had about this. So a limiting belief is something that isn't true and it limits our potential. So ew, we don't want those. My limiting belief was, if everyone does what feels good, no one will be doing X, Y, or Z. Wouldn't everyone want to do the thing that I want to do? And I had no idea that no, most people do not want to spend time talking to potential clients and strategizing with them. And I'm sure that there are jobs that nobody wants to do, that someone has to do. But even those jobs, there's somebody that's going to enjoy it way more and someone that's going to enjoy it way less. For example, if someone just wants to be left alone and just do the same thing every day, which would just be awful for me, but there are people who want to do that. They want to do the same thing every day and just not think about it and maybe listen to a podcast while they're doing their work, things like that, instead of having to actively think about their work. And maybe that allows them to just relax into their work. It's a form of meditation. There are a lot of jobs that fit easily into that category that I would be miserable doing. I would love to hear what you're thinking about in the comments. By the way, it's been so neat to see comments. It's been so neat to have people besides just my sweet mom watching my YouTube channel. I am so thankful, and it's been so fun to just share without expectation and to just enjoy the process of sharing and watching my own improvements. And the one thing I'm yearning for is to see more of your stories and how you're doing. And I want to see your improvements and where you're at. But hopefully we will get there soon. All right, bye.